Welcome back, the good people, to Subnautica. You guys thought it was finished. Actually, it was kind of interesting last episode, which was the final episode in the season for the Let's Play that I was doing for the game. You guys thought it was an April Fool's joke, just because I kind of said it was the last one. I actually didn't mean for that to fall into place. I totally forgot about April 1st. But most of the comments were like, hey, yeah, right. You're not gonna stop making Subnautica videos, you idiot. And you'd be right. We still have the DLC. It's not even out yet. Today's video is gonna focus on the Arctic DLC and all of the latest juicy goods since the last episode that we made. I'm not going to reiterate those points. I'm mostly just gonna talk about the new stuff. But first, one of the reasons why you may have clicked on this video, I want to talk about one particular thing, and that is the Atlas submarine, or previously known as the Beluga. Most, if not all of you, have been wondering for a very long time if this particular submarine that still remains to be, in regards to Subnautica and the developers, a concept art, will ever actually be in the game, and will it be available in the Arctic DLC? Well, let's talk about this for a second. For those who don't know, let's go over a quick history of the Atlas. This is the original concept art. It is originally called the Beluga. One could say that it was a possibility for the larger submarine in Subnautica. Like back when this was made, this likely wasn't to be an option outside of the already picked Cyclops. What likely happened is this was a design for a large submarine, and the Cyclops ended up making the cut and not this design. As you can see, it's quite huge. That is a person in the cockpit area. This thing could house a Cyclops inside of it. It would take up a lot of its space, but it could. Now, as we all know, the Cyclops is already large on its own merit. This thing can barely get around the beginning biomes very well. In more open areas like the dunes, the Lost River, the lava zone, all of those places are pretty easy to navigate with the Cyclops. But I can't imagine trying to navigate in any biome other than the dead zone with this thing, right? It's huge. In any case, there was a modeler, a 3D model artist named Minder, and he made this. This is the 3D render of the Beluga, and it was named the Atlas. I'll put a link down in the description below for you to go to this page yourself. There was a lot of work put into this project, and it looks amazing. If you scroll down here, you can see all the different viewpoints. I believe there's one with all of the viewpoints in. It's magnificently done, drawing straight from the concept art. Honestly, I can't even imagine how many hours were put into this project. It's highly respectable. A dedicated fan who really wanted to create something. Anyway, now that you know what the Atlas is, let's talk about why it's probably never going to be in the game. Number one, it's too big. I think it's safe to say that the playable area in the current version of Subnautica would not be able to be traversed properly in this thing. Literally, the only place that you could navigate safely would be in the dead zone. And because there's no clear objective or any kind of purpose to be out in the dead zone, there's no reason for the Atlas to be in the game. And don't be fooled. Anytime you see a YouTuber post about the Atlas and claim or insinuate in any way that it is already in the game, or that it will be in the game, or that it could be in the game, they're lying to you. I think this has gone really far, and you could almost say that it's gone too far. But we're at the point now where everyone is speculating that the Atlas is going to be used in the Arctic DLC. And once again, we're faced with pretty much all of the same problems that we still face in the regular game. It's too damn big, and I can't see any logical purpose for something of this size to be in that particular biome. From what we have learned about the Arctic DLC, we know that there's going to be an above water area based on the fauna that we've been given previews for, some concept art and things that I'm going to show you in a little bit, and of course how generally any kind of Arctic region is structured. We're going to have an underwater part, and we're going to have on top of the ice part. Now that's not guaranteed, but that is so likely we can draw that conclusion. Way more than we can draw the conclusion that the Atlas will be able to be used in this area. Things like a hovercraft, the Seamoth, and other types of smaller vehicles would make the most sense in an area like this. A hovercraft for above land, and of course the Seamoth for underwater. Maybe even the Cyclops if you need to do a lot of resource gathering to be able to build a base. But all in all, you can gather that stuff with the Seamoth. You absolutely do not need the Cyclops, unless you're going to be going really deep or have to go really deep like you do in the regular game. And with all that said, that leaves no room, quite literally, for the Atlas. The devs have also shunned this idea away on numerous occasions. Most of the time it's been because this model has been presented to the devs by everyone and their mother. Not just the YouTubers who talk about it, but the people who watch these YouTube videos and believe that it should be in the game or that they deserve to have this available to them. I can't even imagine the devs' email inbox and how many requests for this thing they probably get a day. Go to the Discord, read some forums. It's everywhere. Everyone is requesting for this thing to exist. And because of that, this model that has been made by Minder, which is an absolute piece of work, don't get me wrong, but this model has been presented to the devs and it has been directly declined, mainly because it's a third-party model, and if they were to add anything like this, they would have to do it themselves. Now, I know some of you watching are saying, that's not true, I've seen Charlie Cleveland talk about it. Well, let's address that real quick too, because I'm very aware there was a video made talking about these comments from Charlie. It would start with this one in particular. This apparently is on the Amino app, which very clearly this video is not sponsored by. But if you don't know what Amino is, it's an app where there are different communities for different things. Subnautica just happens to be one of them. And you can go there with all the other diehard Subnautica fans and talk about things and theorize and ask about the Atlas. But here apparently is a poll by Charlie Cleveland where it says, do you like the Atlas submarine? And everyone, of course, says yes, or that it's too big, but they still love it. Another post by him that says, if you haven't seen the Atlas sub, here is a link, which links to Minder's account showing, I believe Minder's account, that's Minder's model. Someone responds by asking, it's going to be in the Arctic DLC, isn't it? To which Charlie says, I cannot tell you anything. Now, apparently, this is all it takes for everyone to go nuts. It also apparently is enough for someone to say, yeah, I'm going to make a video about this and make people think that it's true, even though I'm very much aware that it's not. There's a lot of context to this, and using just a little bit of common sense can rule out or bring in the possibility and the actual fact at this point that this is not actually Charlie Cleveland. First of all, clearly, Charlie and the rest of the team wouldn't be referring to this submarine as the Atlas, because the Atlas isn't the name that they gave it. Second of all, there's grammatical errors, like this. That makes no sense. The designer of Subnautica would not be going public and making mistakes like that. Come on. Now, I don't have a screenshot of it, but apparently there was also one of Charlie posting a picture of a concept art of some creature that he claims his 10-year-old son drew. But according to other devs and people that know him, he doesn't have a son. So there's a red flag if you didn't have 19 already. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this forever, but I just want to say that let's be real here. The Atlas is not coming. I know it's a great idea, and if they ever do make it and make a whole bunch of changes to the game, then so be it. I will happily be wrong. But the problem is that this information is being spread as if it is truth. And a lot of that blame definitely falls on the specific content creator baiting the hell out of the Atlas for a long time. I would say that I'm not going to name any names, but I'm pretty sure you all know who I'm talking about anyway. So please, spread the news. You may share this video if you like, but basically, I'm trying to help you. There is no confirmation of the Atlas going to be in-game or be in the DLC, and those screenshots that are being shared around are fake. Also, I'm just really tired of reading about the Atlas. Every time there's a comment, it's like, this is what I think the Atlas will be used for. Hey, did you know that they're adding the Atlas into the DLC? So now that we've concluded the PSA, the IG PSA, we get a few snippets of the Arctic DLC, some cool concept art, and other things that you might want to take a look at. So let's do it. So here we go. Now, keep in mind that when it comes to new information, I tend to like to let things collect before I talk about them. There are other Subnautica YouTubers that will give you news immediately and straight to the point stuff. You can absolutely check them out, like Akituembis, Awesome Crunch, and others. So some of this that I'm going to say is new is definitely new, relatively, but also new to me. So if you already know about it, I apologize. But the wiki page for the expansion pack now has two sections. One is confirmed features and the other is potential features. Confirmed features lists the Arctic biome, the female protagonist, the weather system, and the glowing whale-like creature, the only creature so far to be verified to be in the Arctic DLC. And that's this guy, this beautiful guy, who apparently is going to look exactly like this, like a giant rabbit ray. Also, please don't look at the two people in this concept art and assume that it's multiplayer. This is an older concept art. Now, for the potential features is the Rock Puncher, which we've already seen and we know is kind of, it's already modeled and animated, so there's no reason to not have it. The problem is fitting it into the biome to have it make sense. The penguin-like creature, which we actually now have concept art for. This cute little guy, Alien Penguin B, which would imply that there's an A, but it for sure looks like a Subnautica penguin, and then underwater is absolutely terrifying. So there's no way of knowing or telling if this is going to be a hostile creature, or if it's just going to be kind of a defensive creature that if you get too close it might bite you, or that it's only scary underwater and it's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing where on top it's totally nice, but underwater it'll swallow you whole. So this gives confirmation to the penguin videos that we've seen, where I was very doubtful and that I thought they were only using that just kind of like a placeholder creature, that it wouldn't be a penguin, obviously, because that's too relative to Earth. But now we see that this is what it will look like and that it was just a placeholder for an actual penguin alien. Fantastic. I love being wrong. Also, the hovercraft vehicle, the Arctic reefback, and a squid-like creature. Let's look at the Arctic reefback. That's this beauty right here, which actually has the penguins on the back. That makes sense. That's what those are. I saw this and I thought they were birds, but now I see it's the actual penguin. That's awesome. So this is the Arctic reefback, which is very much like the reefback that we know and love, except I believe this one is just going to be floating on the surface, seeing as its head seems to be covered in a thin layer of ice, and that the penguins are sitting on it like it's an iceberg, and also that would be freaking cool as hell for it to be kind of like an illusion of an iceberg. It kind of looks like a reefback and a sperm whale head, but it's kind of awesome to see that we're going to have two giant, possibly passive creatures, the Arctic reefback and the glow whale. The Arctic reefback looks like it's going to be kind of small, considering those are penguins. I mean, they could be huge penguins, but if they're going to be the same size as the ones we saw in the video, then this is a very small reefback. Also could be a baby, so there could be larger ones. Anyway, now this is the squid creature that was also mentioned as a potential Arctic DLC fauna. There's not much to it. We don't have anything else besides this view of it, but it is a squid-looking creature with no tentacles, but just the beak, and I don't know how to describe this thing. It actually looks like a cuttlefish. Not a cuttlefish as in the one we know, the one that's cute and that we cry about at the end of the game, but the cuttlefish, which is a squid or octopus-like creature that exists on Earth. Kind of small, but it's ferocious looking. This one looks naturally deceiving. I'm not sure what to make of it. Now, it doesn't say it on the wiki yet, but this is another piece of concept art. By the way, these are being posted on Twitter by either Charlie or in the Discord by Obraxis. So be sure to follow Charlie on Twitter and check out the Subnautica Discord channel. Anyway, this is the Penicarid with 4 variations. My favorite is C, just by the way it looks. But I don't know how to describe this thing. I don't know what creature on Earth this is related to, but then again, I'm not that informed on the aquatic. Nonetheless, I would say that A or C are probably going to be the obvious choices for the Arctic biome, considering that it has a cool color to it. And it's not just kind of an aesthetic thing, it's an actual survival thing, where in places like this, you would need to make sure that you can camouflage yourself. Arctic creatures tend to have white fur. Deep sea animals tend to have reflective underbellies to kind of blend in with the lights from a predator looking up. These guys have to blend in, and being red or green in an area like this is probably not going to be helpful. So that's pretty much it as far as concept art goes. I actually didn't look at the Subnautica Changes Twitter and kind of scour through that to see if there's any mention of anything that is worthy of talking about. I'm sure other people have found some stuff. I'm just looking at the big things, like this actually. I found this guy in the concept art section of the wiki, which you can find under fauna. And holy crap, are there some amazing concept art in there. There are creatures that didn't make the cut into Subnautica that actually apparently a lot of people are speculating will be in the Arctic DLC, but again, let's wait and find out first. But there are some awesome looking things like this, that, and this. Oh, and also this, my favorite one. Can you imagine this thing being underwater? Look at the size of it, dude. I would ride that thing like Falcor. My own underwater flying pterodactyl. Dude, are you kidding me? Please put this in the game. Why is this not already in the game? Anyway, so that's all I have for you guys today. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know in the comment section below if you have anything else you'd like to hear from me. Subnautica related, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to keep up to date with all my latest videos. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!